Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video blog from myself, Max McGillivray of Red Fox. Last week we were in the salubrious surroundings of Victoria Station. This week we are in Chatteris in Cambridgeshire. So I took Magnus, the office dog, for a short walk before we started this filming, and it's not the most attractive of places. And there's an old joke that goes, if you look at Chatteris on Wikipedia, it states that a number of years ago there was an earthquake here and it did £2 million worth of improvements. But we mustn't deride it, because it is one of the central growing hubs of the UK, and especially on a logistical point of view as well. Since I've been filming here, which is a nightmare in itself, because I've had to help a couple of old dears load up their shopping, waiting for them to clear a space. There's been no end of trucks going by with fresh produce and frozen food going up and down the countryside. So it's a very important hub for the UK. And that might be one of the reasons why TESCO looked to put a store here about 2 years ago. But if you remember, they mothballed a number of stores when they were just going through the crisis, the financial crisis. And we all wondered what would happen to it, and now it's been reinvented. It's been reinvented as Jack's. But we'll come on to that in a little bit more detail, because we just had a wander into store and had a very nice chat with the security guard, who was quite entertaining. Some other news I just wanted to quickly run by. I suppose we'd better get the positive news out of the way. Magnus, our office dog, has some news to tell you, so let's cut over to Magnus. Now this is great news, because I think he's going to be more and more of a feature of these vlogs, and we'll have to go and film the puppies when they arrive. I think it's the end of this month, the end of October. He's been a pain ever since he had his romantic weekend away with his girlfriend Purdy, who is a beautiful blonde Labrador. But he's been wandering around like he's got a Cuban cigar and a bottle of Chateauneuf de Pape on the go ever since that weekend. But fingers crossed the puppies will be all okay, and as I say, we'll share those pictures with you. We talked last week about VEG Power, and there's the Peas Please VEG Power, Eat More Veg with Pledge conference coming up in London next week. We can't attend it, but we did post up on social media this week a fairly revolting picture showing the ultimate VEG Power. So we're going to show this to you. If you're of a nervous disposition, please turn away now. Right, here we go. So you see what I mean? That wasn't very attractive, but very funny when it comes to quirky veg. And what else is going on? Oh, there's an interesting one earlier this week. We've talked previously about produce investments who operate the Greenvale business, that they've just been bought out by an equity house that not many people seem to know of, who seem to specialise in sofas. And unfortunately, it looks like Greenvale have just lost one of their major retailers. From memory, they only had two, so that's going to be a bit of a shocker. And I don't know how you then explain to your new buyers that, oh, you've just bought us, but something's gone a bit wrong, in that we've just lost a major retailer. It's a bit like being sold a very nice second-hand car by a car salesman, getting it down the road, taking it into a garage to put some petrol, put some investment into it, and then finding out that someone's gone and nicked your engine, because that's literally what's happened. It's going to be a bit embarrassing, I think, for the ops director come new MD, because I believe he's presenting at the FPJ conference next week about how they're going to take the business further forward. So I wouldn't want to really be in his situation with everyone saying, well, but you've just lost a retail account. But unfortunately, it seems to be the cycle that we're in. We're just seeing more and more consolidation in major product lines within fresh food, within fresh produce, to the point that there's one line with one retailer. It just seems to be the way that it's going to go. Perhaps that's because there is so much profitability held up within the supply chain. To get that profitability out, the likes of the retailers have to go direct, dedicated to a sole supplier to get those efficiencies. What else is going on? Roles. We've got a sudden flurry of new roles coming in. We've just had a commercial director role go live, really interesting. It's an overseas concern who are looking to set up a UK office. So they're looking for an individual to boss that. I love that expression. They want to find someone who has the back doors to open up the retailers, the food service, the wholesale side, as well as looking into Europe. So have a look at the links above or below, or on our website for more information. And Caroline in the office has just gone live with a really interesting role of Product and Efficiency Manager in Holland for a key overseas supplier. So that's another really interesting role, but have a look at our website and see what you think. Okay, so let's go on to Jax. So Jax is TESCO. So TESCO, interestingly enough, today they've came out, we thought, with quite decent profit figures, and we thought it's quite a big thumbs up for Dave Lewis, because he does seem to be very mercurial. He does seem to be doing a very good job. But the city being the city seemed to have gone and given him and his board a bit of a spanking, and that the shares have gone down 8% after what the city have claimed have been disappointing results, which seems a bit unfair because 2 years ago the thing was an absolute bugger's muddle, and Dave and his team do seem to be pointing in the right direction. So that seems a little bit unfair. But they do seem to be very evolutionary, and they're looking to be very creative, hence Jax. So what is Jax? Jax is a direct competitor, and they make no bones about it, to the likes of Audi and Lidl. I think specifically Audi, because they seem to be the forerunners in this discount sector. So let's have a look at Audi within the UK. £10 billion in sales. That's a lot. Profits jumped last year by 30%, not 30% in 1 year. They've opened up 70 more stores. They're now the fifth largest supermarket. They've got 130 new stores planned in the next 2 years. And currently, on a price comparison basis, they're 22% cheaper than any of the other big four stores. So they're the tsunami, they're the retail tsunami, and Tesco's is worried about that, looking to take some of their market share, hence why they've set up Jax. Now there's a limited number of Jax, I suppose on a trial basis, to see how it goes. I went into store and had a look round. It is very good, it's very functional, the offering seems to be very good, very affordable, and it does seem to be a direct comparison to Audi. But surely Audi, they're just too far ahead. How are Tesco ever going to catch that back? Perhaps Tesco should concentrate on the homeland, because I suppose there's a worry here that if people come to Jax, they're not going to go to Tesco's, and are they just going to be cannibalising their sales? Are they just going to be eating their own leg, trying to keep that consumer, when it's not going to work in the long term, again against the might of the discounters? And if you look at the likes of Sainsbury's and Asda, that is but a takeover. Surely it's a takeover that Sainsbury's are taking over Asda. If you speak to some of the commentators who are far more worldly wise than I, their view is that Walmart just want to bail out of UK retail. They got a bloody bath in Germany, if you remember, when they set up there. They're very worried about the discounters. Everything seems to be conspiring against them, even to the point that the HS2 train line is going through 1/3 of the Asda head offices up in Leeds. And Walmart have just said, no, we're out of here, let's get gone. If we can get a good deal with someone, oh, Sainsbury's wants to buy us, let's go. Let's just get rid. So this whole market is developing very rapidly. So let's see what happens with Jax. The discounters will continue to march on. The one I'm actually surprised at, disappointed about, because I've been predicting for the last 2 years, is that Amazon are going to come in here like a juggernaut and take over this whole retail sector, but they haven't. And why is that? Perhaps they've realised that and worked out that actually the margin within the retail sector, especially within something like fresh produce, is minuscule, and hence why they're concentrating on pharmaceuticals and spare motor parts and office stationery, and don't have an appetite to come into here because it's not going to work for them, because they're just not going to make the margin that they're used to. Let us see. Anyway, so next week we're at the FPGA conference. It'll be great to see you there and to get some commentary, some views on Brexit, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. What do you reckon? Have you had different retailers here trying to figure out what's going on? Okay, nice.
Yeah, a lot of people coming from, like, what was the lady last time? I can't remember. She was on Monday, and she was walking around the store and do pictures.
Okay.
The prices are good, you know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You know, if the price is right and the product is good for your money, if you can't go wrong, you're not going to go anywhere else.
You're going to come shop here, aren't you? Yeah.
So, and I think, like I said, the prices are so silly on like on a nappies or a lot of products like this.
Yeah.
So I think the people are going to come in, and all this bakery section.
Yeah, that was lovely. I love that. Good stuff. Thank you very
No
much.
problem, sir.
So I'll just do a bit of film.